Waiting on YouTube. You guys are on Instagram. What's happening, squad? I hope we are all good. If you're watching this on the replay, as always, give me a hashtag replay. And I'm going to we'll give it a couple of minutes as we always do, just to let some people jump in on the live stream. So I've just spent the fucking last 10 minutes faffing around with, sorry, I'm just trying to minimize my screen here a minute. So I've got my notes up, faffing around with my setup here that you can see in the office now. You guys on YouTube and Facebook won't notice that because you're off a different camera. You're off my webcam. But you guys on Instagram, I didn't like you being like over there and me having to like look around. So I've changed it so I'm directly in front of you guys now. We got the mic in the shot, even though the mic only works because it's connected to my Mac. It's not working with you guys on Instagram. Obviously, it's how I record the podcast. So I'm considering like getting, if anyone is techie out there that could let me know a microphone that will plug into the iPhone and that I can wear on my shirt or something, so you guys on Instagram can get a better audio quality. So if anyone knows that, please let me know. Drop me a DM. Let me know, any tech people out there. So yeah, I've just spent the last 10 minutes and I've got major bad OCD me of getting things right. And I managed to sort it out. And then the fucking lampshade here, you guys can see on Instagram, was in the shot. And I'm like, I don't want it. I don't like that. I just want, do you know what I mean? Something nice like behind me, even though white wall's not fucking nice. Also, another thing for you guys, what do you, all of you guys watching this on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, I need to get something on this wall here. Drop me a DM and let me know what you recommend getting as a backdrop. I'm thinking maybe a screen that I can have some motivational quotes on, or the Type 1 Movement logo. I think we need a bit of a refurb in the office, I think. So yeah, that's what I've just spent the last fucking 10 minutes pissing around trying to get this set up for you guys on Instagram. But I'm pretty happy with how this is at the moment. So, right, I'm going to give it another 30 seconds, and then we are going to get into today's live and today's episode. People jumping on, thank you. Leave me an emoji in the comments. Or even better, let me know how your day is going. Hope you're having a great day, even if you guys are watching this on the replay. Right, shall we smash that record and let's get into today's episode. 3, 2, 1. Yes, gang, what's happening? Welcome to another episode of the Type 1 Movement Podcast with me, your boy, Type 1 Tom. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to be chatting about controlling your actions to improve your blood glucose control. But I'm gonna get pretty deep into this, and I'm gonna give a little bit of tough love as well. So if you're a delicate snowflake who listens to this, I don't think anyone watches my lives, or because I always live stream you guys on the podcast. I always live stream on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Soon to be TikTok. I've noticed a few of you guys have come and followed me on TikTok. It's at Type 1 Tom or Type 1 _ Tom. So thank you. I'm soon going to be going live on there as well. I'm just waiting for a stand for my iPad because I'm needing that many fucking different devices. But yeah, I don't think there's any delicate snowflakes that listen to this, really. A lot of you guys come back to me and say, you know what, I fucking needed that wake-up call. And this is what I'm going to deliver in today's episode. Now, before we get into it, please leave me a rating and a review on the podcast app, as it really does help me reach more Type 1 diabetics and positively impact our community, because that is the goal at the end of the day from this podcast, to spread awareness, to help you guys out through my stories, tips, tricks, speaking about my experiences, and then also getting my clients on to give you guys motivation as well. So I really do appreciate that. Also, give it a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at Type 1 _ Tom. I love it when you guys do that. So I'm going to start off with a saying, and I'm going to break this saying down. And for us as Type 1 diabetics, I want you to remember this saying because it's very fucking powerful. It's very powerful. If you can remember this saying, it's going to help you with burnout. It's going to help you with overwhelm. And it's going to help you with frustration as well, because we all experience them as Type 1 diabetics, just some to a larger degree than others. Even I experience it at times. This is the saying, and this is something I'm big on with my clients, and it's this: control the controllables. Control the controllables. Now, with Type 1 diabetes, there is some things that we cannot control, but there's a lot of things that are under our control. You just need to figure out what they are. Now, that's a big one, control the controllables. And the reason that I say this is something I'm big on my clients with, when I'm coaching them through things, when they're posting on our Facebook group. I'm like, all right, let's have a look at why this happened and what we can control and what we can change. And I think a lot of Type 1s get so caught up in different shit that they can't actually control. Yeah. And I'm going to give you a few examples. These are big fucking examples. I'm going to give you a few examples of what I hear a lot of type ones like saying or doing. But before I tell you these examples, I want you to understand this. We only have so much mental capacity, mental energy. It's like it's not an unlimited source. Your mental state, your mental energy isn't unlimited. You spend it on certain things, thinking about certain things throughout every single day, and it drains down. It drains down. It's like motivation doesn't stay. It's high and it drains down. Do you know what I mean? Like you only have so much mental capacity and mental energy before you start to get burnt out, before you start to feel frustrated and overwhelmed and get in a highly stressed state. So I want you to understand that we only have so much mental energy. And I see so many type ones wasting their mental energy on things they cannot control. Hence why I started this episode with control the controllables. Here's a few things that I see other type 1 diabetics wasting their mental energy. Yeah, wasting their mental energy on things they can't control. The first one is a big one, and some of you guys may not agree, but I'll tell you why I see this as a waste of mental energy. Wishing for a cure for type 1 diabetes. Now, don't get me wrong, it would be fucking great if we could go bang, wave a wand, and we'd be cured. Yeah. But, and I get a lot of type 1s say this to me, do you wish for a cure? And honestly, no. It doesn't really cross my mind. And I'll tell you why. Like I said, we only have so much mental energy. If I was sat there every single day thinking, I wish there was a cure, I wish there was a cure, I wish there was a cure, it's taking my mental energy, it's draining it, and it's taking it away on things that are more positively influenced that I should be spending my mental energy on, which I'm going to get to at the end of this podcast, the things that you should proactively be spending your mental energy on that are going to move the needle forward in terms of your blood glucose, your health, and your mindset. But this is the first one, wishing for a cure. Now, look, unless you are proactively involved in something working towards a cure, then you're like myself. I don't think wishing for a cure is a great use of our mental energy. You could disagree with me, but I personally think there's better ways that you can spend your mental energy in opposed to wishing for a cure. So that's the first one. Another big one is diabetic health complications. There's a bit of a caveat to this. If you're going to use your mental energy on worrying about diabetic health complications, eyesight, like organ failures, losing limbs, we all face it, even me if I'm not well controlled. Yeah, so that's why I can speak about these things. I'm not just a non-type 1 diabetic saying, hey, this is what you face if you don't control your levels. I face it as well. If you're wasting your mental energy thinking about diabetic health complications, and that's not igniting some drive for you to do better, then that's not a good thing. If you are using your mental energy and it's causing a drive and some scarcity and a little bit of fear in you, because we need fear to move, we need to lean into fear. If you are doing that, then great. But you cannot sit there thinking, what if I lose my eyesight? What if I lose my limbs? What if this goes wrong? I've heard about this type 1 doing this. What if this? What if you're wasting mental energy on that, you are doing exactly that. You're wasting your mental energy. There's nothing proactive that's going to come from you worrying about getting health complications that we all face as type 1s unless it's driving you to make some sort of positive change. That's the second one. The third one, another big one, worrying about what other fucking type 1 diabetics are doing. Wasting mental energy, worrying about what other fucking type 1 diabetics are doing. Now, if you're looking at these other type 1s as an inspiration, some people say that to me, great. I love that. Thank you for you guys who say I'm an inspiration. Great. Look towards me for what I'm doing. Get inspired from it. Look at the client results that I'm sharing out. Get fucking inspired from it. But don't look at other type 1s and compare yourself to them. Don't look at other type 1s and compare your insulin intake to them is another thing. Comparing your levels to them, unless you're using that as a driver to do better for yourself, stay in your own fucking lane. Don't worry about what other type 1 diabetics are doing. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Because that's not going to have no positive impact on you unless you're using that as motivation and inspiration. Yes, that's a third one. Another fourth one that I hear a lot, and I'm just going to come straight up and say this, he's fucking complaining. Look, Mental energy on complaining or mental energy being proactive on the things that I'm going to give you a breakdown in a minute. Because I don't just want to rant at you guys. You need to be thinking about, if you're sat there complaining all the time, that's not fucking doing anything. It is not doing anything, and it's being a huge drain of your mental energy is complaining about your situation. Yeah. You need to be proactive in solving problems, not complaining. Control the controllables. That's why I said that at the start of this. And the last one is a few more, but the last one is being a victim to your diabetes. This is a mindset. If you're one of these saying, why me? Wish you was a cure comes into this, which is, I've told you the caveat to that. You can kind of use that at times. If you're worrying, saying, why me? This is so shit. This shouldn't have happened this way. This high shouldn't have happened. This low shouldn't have happened. You're being a victim towards your diabetes. And you don't want to be a victim. I have a full training on mindset in my course for my clients. And I say in that, you get a choice on this, gang. You can be a victim to it, or you can be a victor and you can fucking grab it by the balls and control it. You get to choose out of one of those two things. If you're being a victim and you're complaining all the time, you're wasting so much mental energy. And then a lot of type ones wonder why they get so frustrated, overwhelmed, and burnt out with it. It's because you only get so much mental energy. You've just drained it all on worrying about what other type ones are doing, complaining about your situation, and being a victim to your diabetes, when that mental energy could have been used up in a better place. Now, I'm going to get onto that in a second, but I'm going to recap that. A waste of your mental energy as a type 1 is wishing for a cure. I've told you the caveat to that. Worrying about diabetic health complications unless you're using them to drive yourself forward. Yeah. Worrying about what other type 1 diabetics are doing and comparing yourself to them unless you are using them as inspiration. Complaining about your situation and being a victim, having a victimized mindset towards your diabetes. Now, look, this is something that I also say that I'm big on with myself, and I say to my clients. You can't control the outcome or the results of your actions. You can only control your actions. Yeah. So if you're doing things if you're doing daily actions that are leading you towards better health and better glucose control, you've just got to hope that those daily actions, which they will do, which I'll tell you which they are in a minute, will have a good outcome. You can't really control that outcome, but you can control your actions. And that's why I labeled this podcast and this live, control your actions to improve your blood glucose control. You can't always control the outcome. You can't always control the result. What will happen will happen. Take your focus on that, because that's an uncontrollable. You need to be controlling the controllables, yeah, which are your daily actions. We all get to control them. So without me saying this is what I see, blah, 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 not giving you anything, I'm going to give you some actionable things now where your mental energy should be best spent on the things that we all get to fucking control as type 1 diabetics. Yeah. This is where your mental energy should be spent. The first one, educating yourself on the condition, educating yourself on type 1 diabetes. Now, I'll take my hats off to you. If you're here, you're watching this live, you're listening to this podcast, you're already doing this. So please give yourself a pat on the back, congratulate yourself, because, that's a huge win for the day. You've decided that you want to put some of your mental energy into educating yourself on type 1 and mindset. And that's what I'm giving to you via this podcast, via these lives. That's the first one. The other one, the simple one, put your mental energy into testing your blood glucose levels. Yeah. I could do a whole episode on that, but if you don't know what your levels are and you want to improve your control, you're at a bit of a sticking point. We can't manage what we don't actually know what's going on. Yeah. The third one is running tests, basal rate tests, insulin to carb ratio tests, correction factor tests, pre-bolus timing tests. Put your mental energy into things like that. Put your mental energy, the next one, into eating well, tracking your food intake. I say this all the time. Most of us are adults here. You fucking should be eating. Don't eat like a dickhead. That's basically all I've got to say on that. Put your mental energy into eating well. Put your mental energy into your activity levels, getting your steps in, moving throughout the day, getting workouts in. Put your mental energy into focusing on your sleep. Get enough sleep. Yeah. Put your mental energy into stress management. I did a whole podcast on stress management. I've got reels on my Instagram. And basically, I'm going to scoot over it now because it's a big thing that a lot of type 1 diabetics struggle with. Think of stress as a bucket. So we've got all these stresses from our life, diabetes, family, kids, job. It's coming into this bucket. And what happens is eventually it starts to overflow. Also, if you're wasting your mental energy on things like being a victim, complaining, worrying about health complications, that's stress, that's going into this bucket. So what you need to do is, if you think we've got this bucket and it's full to the brim of stress, you need to be able to drill holes and release that stress bucket, as we say. And this is things like going on a walk, listening to podcasts, anything, meditation, anything that's going to chill you the fuck out. So that's a big tip about managing stress for us as type ones. And the last thing is working on your mindset. Actually use your mental energy, the mental capacity that you only have so much of. It's not unlimited, like I said, to work on your mindset. If you can probably relate to this, because I know I've been there in the past when I've been focusing on worrying about what other type ones are doing. I have been a victim to certain situations in the past, and that's a big strain on mental energy. A big strain on mental energy. So if you're listening to this and you can relate to the things that I said, just give me a silent head nod now, just so I know that you're with me. And like I say, I've been there, and that's why I understand these. So if you're one of these that feels like you're constantly wasting mental energy on wishing for a cure, worrying about diabetic health complications, what other type 1 diabetics are doing, complaining about situations, being a victim towards your diabetes, having that victimized mindset, that mental energy that you're wasting, please go and use it. And I will recap these now on educating yourself on type 1 diabetes. If you're here, you're already doing that, so that's a huge win. Hats off to you. Testing your blood glucose levels, running the tests that you need to, eating well, your activity and your workouts, sleep, stress management, and working on your mindset. Can you imagine if you switch your mental state and took the energy away from those things that aren't improving your blood glucose control, they aren't improving your physical and mental health or your mental state. If you took that mental energy and you put it into the things that are proactively improving that, imagine where you're going to be in like 3 months' time, 6 months' time, a year's time. You're going to be in a much better position than you are now. Yeah. So I'm going to quickly recap. We only have so much mental energy. We wake up each day. We've got so much mental energy over the day that will get spent on certain things. You get to choose where that fucker gets spent. Do not waste it on wishing for a cure, worrying about diabetic health complications, worrying about what other type 1 diabetics are doing, complaining about your situation and being a victim to your diabetes. Instead, use that mental energy on educating yourself on type 1 diabetes, how it works, insulin stuff, testing your blood glucose levels, running the specific tests you need, like your basal rate, ratio, insulin to carb ratio, correction factor, pre-bolus timing, eating well, getting enough sleep, your activity levels, getting workouts in. That's just going to make you feel good. Managing stress. I've just told you the best way to manage stress there. And also working on your mindset. Yeah. Guys, that is it. If you got value from this episode, please leave me a rating and a review in the podcast app. As like I say, it does help me reach more type 1 diabetics. And I know where we spend our mental energy as type 1s is a struggle for a lot of type 1s. And that's why I'm doing this. So hopefully from this episode, your eyes have been opened a little bit and you can get real with yourself and be like, you know what, I fucking think about that all the time. I do wish for a cure a bit too much. I worry about diabetic health complications. I complain a little bit to myself. You don't need to complain to others. You can complain in your own fucking head as well. So now, after listening to this, I'm going to use my mental energy on the things that are proactively moving me forward in terms of my blood glucose control, diabetes management, and also for my physical and mental health. Team, let's fucking go. Hopefully you got some value from that. Like I said, leave me a rating and a review. Screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories and tag me at type1_Tom. I appreciate every single one of you that listens to this podcast. Hope you got value. And until the next episode, have a fucking great day. Peace. Right, team. I'm going to stay on for a minute. We'll answer any questions from anyone. A quick look through YouTube. We got a couple of thumbs up. Thank you guys on YouTube. Appreciate you. Got a few on Facebook. What's happening? Appreciate you guys. Thank you. A few guys on Instagram. I'm going to scroll to the first comments. What's happening? Sammy, awesome day. Love it. Jason, what do you think of the Medtronic pumps? I'll soon go on the Tandem T-Slim 2. I started on the Tandem. I've not used Medtronic. I've had clients who've used Medtronic, and they've got a newest one out. I've not heard any bad feedback from that, and I've heard mixed reviews on the older Medtronics. This isn't my personal opinion. This is just clients that I've worked with. Some people say it's great. some people haven't got on so well with it. For me, I love my tandem. It's a great pump. I've had 3 pumps in my time. One was completely shit. Last one before this was mega, but they don't make it anymore, which was the Accu-Check Aviva combo. And now I'm on the tandem, so it's great. But I always say this, like, to my clients and to you guys, pumps are very much a personal thing. What I might be like, this tandem's fucking awesome, but you might be like, I don't really like that. I prefer a patch pump like the Omnipod. So if you guys, my advice to you guys who are considering certain pumps is, if you get to try it, some have an app, or if you can take one with you, like a test dummy or something, try them first. If you get the options of trying them, try them, because it's so personal. But I've heard mixed reviews about Medtronic, but I can give you my own personal opinion on the tandem, buddy, and I fucking love it. It's a great pump. So hopefully that answers that question. We need stress. It's how your temperament influences your blood sugar. Yeah, we need a certain amount of stress. We need to kind of get us to move forward, because it puts a healthy amount of pressure on us. If you're living a life completely stress-free, you're never learning, you're never moving forward. But you also need to know when, like I say, the example of the stress bucket, when that stress bucket is getting too full, you need to realize that before it starts overflowing into diabetic burnout. Depression is another one if your stress is too high. I've experienced that many a times. Before it gets to that point, we need to know how to plug the holes in, which is doing the shit that you enjoy. For me, riding my bike, walking my dog, running, working out, reading books, chilling in a fucking bubble bath and taking stupid pictures and posting them on my socials. This is just some of the things that help to chill me out and release stress. And yet, I tend to ignore stressful people. Definitely, just saying. I'm big on that team. Like, who you surround yourself with people will have a big impact and influence on you. It's saying, like, if you surround yourself with fucking 4 idiots, you're going to become the 5th. If you surround yourself with 4 very successful people that are winning, you're going to become the 5th. And this is what I'm big on with clients in my Facebook group. That's why I make sure they're all dead positive. We're all uplifting each other. We're helping. We're solving problems. And that's another caveat why I always say to you guys, if you go into a Facebook community group, have a quick look through the comments and make sure it's people helping each other out and supporting each other, because there's a lot of groups and they're very fucking negative and victimized. And I will say that straight up, because I care about you guys. You guys are following me. You're in my little community. I want you to be the healthiest type ones that you can be. I don't want you to be for glutton fucking punishment to these victimized mindsets. So it's not just who we surround ourselves with personally in real life. It's the groups and where we hang out on social media. So be careful when you're going into these type 1 or diabetic groups, because there's a lot of fucking people in there that are, like I've just said on this, complaining, being victims. And if you're seeing that all the time, it will rub off on you. So just be very careful with where you spend your time, as well as your mental energy, which is what all this was about, right, gang? Cool. Right. No free. Tammy, great reminder. So thank you. Carol, thank you. So for my endo, he's putting me on the YPSO, My Life Pump. Yep. I've heard of that. About 3, I don't know how I'm doing that. About 3 years ago, I did a little trial about that pump, and it was how easy it was to use the type 1, to fill, to change the cartridges and all that sort of stuff. And it seemed pretty good. Very similar to the tandem. So I've not heard any bad things about it. I enjoyed. Very easy to take the little cartridges out, well, what it was, and fill up and use as well, and use the screen. So if that's the one I'm thinking of, might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was that one, My Life. So pretty good pump from what I remember doing the little trial, the little tester, bit of research on it. Excuse me. Cool. Right, gang. Gonna jump off. Sorry, I've just realized that I've been going through comments, and you guys on YouTube and Facebook I probably haven't seen right on my armpit or something like that. Might have to move that camera. Right, team. I'm going to call it a day there. Thank you very much for jumping on this live. And I was going to say tune in. I'm going to stop saying tuning in, because you don't tune in. You just open a fucking app. Thank you very much for watching this live and opening the app and jumping on. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you got some value from that. And it opened your eyes a little bit and give you a bit of a kick up the arse, bit of tough love, bit of inspiration that you hopefully need to continue to improve your blood glucose control, your physical and mental health, and move forward. So until the next live, gang, appreciate you all. Have a fucking great day. Peace.